Noel Noa is considered the best striker in the world and is Izaki's favorite player, now mentor in the Neo-Egoist League arc in Blue Lock. But the more I think about Noel, the more I feel like his character cannot be trusted. But let me explain. We get our first glimpse of Noel Noa all the way back in the first chapter, where we see Ego recite quotes from the top players in the world of football. And for Noel Noa's quote, he says, "Instead of assisting my teammates to a win by 1-0, it feels better to pull a hat trick and lose 3-4. And of course, this statement sounds very egotistical, which you would expect from a striker, especially the top striker in the Blue Lock universe. And hearing this would make you think that Noel's personality was going to be closer to Baru's, since we basically heard Baru make the same statement about how he doesn't care about winning unless they are done with his goals. But we do eventually get to meet Noel in the Neo-Egoist League arc, and he actually has a pretty calm personality overall. But as we learn more about his character, there seems to be more going on, especially when it comes to his relationship with Ego. We know that Noel and Ego have a past together, and clearly they are not on the most friendly of terms, since in chapter 231, Noel even describes their dynamic as twisted. So this makes me question, why would Noel even want to join the Neo-Egoist League? Because it is a project directly under Ego, since it is the final selection of the Blue Lock project before Ego picks a team for the World Cup. So Noel would know that this whole thing is a creation of Ego's mind, but by the way that Noah speaks about Ego, it's pretty clear that he doesn't agree with the way that Ego thinks about football, thinking he is far too obsessed with the sport. And creating an entire fictional league just to train your players is the definition of obsessed. So why join? Well, of course, I feel like the biggest answer to this is simple: money. Since technically all these international teams that have come to train with the Blue Lock players in this league are helping them to rapidly improve, which will just make them that much harder of a team to beat when they eventually face them in the World Cup. But of course, if there's a huge incentive like a large amount of money, then players would be more willing to come to the league, since we know that the World 5 got $100 million each just for playing a game per a cleared team against the Blue Lock players. So I could only imagine how much money players in the league are making, especially the master strikers, since this is a several weeks long process, which by the way, Loki has got to be one of the richest 17-year-olds in the world, since he is already making pro money and now has had 2 gigs with Blue Lock. Like, this kid has gotten so much money just in the span of a few months. But anyways, I'm sure that Noel is also making a lot of money just by being in the league. But we also know that there are motives for a lot of people coming to the league than just the initial money that they are making. Since, for example, Chris Prince wants to take advantage of the fact that they're on TV and get more brand deals and show off his sponsorships, while someone like Kaiser wants to take advantage of the Neo-Egoist League system and hopes to get a better offer from a different club so that he can leave the bastard team, since he knows that he'll stay in the shadow of Noel Noa if he doesn't leave the team. So clearly the author is showing us that people in the league can have ulterior motives, and this makes me think that Noel's ulterior motive is to destroy Ego, and he wants to use his protege to do this, also known as Blue Lock's hero. Blue Lock is all about having a big ego, and I'm sure Noah wouldn't be happy about seeing Ego beginning to thrive in the football industry, especially if he has so many negative feelings towards Ego, even describing him as a ghost that haunts his past. So it seems even odder that he'd want to actively help him with the league, since Noah tells Snuffy that he doesn't want to be lumped in with someone like Ego. And I don't think it's about the money, since as the top striker in the world, Noah would have more than enough money and could just do other things to get money, like brand deals, if he wanted to get more money. And the reason why I think his ulterior motive has to do with Izaki is because if Noah still thinks the same way that he did from his quote in the first chapter, then he wouldn't enjoy the way that Izaki plays, especially in the first 2 matches where Izaki was just assisting. But after the Manshine match in chapter 204, we see that Noah is not only being very nice to Izaki and talking with him, but is even taking care of Izaki. And that goes beyond the contract that they were probably given, since outside of training the Blue Lock players for matches, they aren't their responsibility. So it's pretty nice of Noah to take care of him when he's passed out. But I think he was just waiting for another opportunity to talk to Izaki alone without other players around and without it looking too suspicious to other people. Since Izaki was out for about 10 hours, meaning that Noa would have had to actively have been coming in and out to check on Izaki for him to be there when he wakes up, and he could have just used the excuse that he is a concerned coach if anyone questions him. And of course, Izaki is so excited about this interaction since this is the person that he looks up to most and tells Noa all about his theories, which Noa encourages by asking Izaki a lot of questions, where Izaki even tells him about metavision. But I feel like Noa was doing all this just to see how much information he could get out of Izaki, and is even the one to bring up Ego to Izaki, telling him how he understands why he was chosen by Ego, which shows that in Noa's eyes, he sees Izaki as Ego's protege first and foremost, then proceeds to call Ego the nut job that created Blue Lock, once again showing that he has low regard to Ego and the project that he has created. And there's a slight contradiction to this since the Blue Lock wiki describes that Noa seems to respect Ego despite the things he has said about him. So if you know the chapter that he says that he respects Ego, then please let me know in the comments since I couldn't find it. But even so, calling someone that you respect a nut job clearly shows that you are not the biggest fan of them at the very least. So with Noa saying all of these things, it feels even more confusing why he is so nice to Izaki, since we are never given a real reason why Noa shows so much favoritism towards Izaki, since I made a short a few months back questioning if Noa was even a good coach, since it seemed like the only person that he was actually coaching was Izaki, and people had a lot of feelings about it, but chapter 230 just further showed that Noa treats Izaki different from other players, since there is no way that Noa would have let any other player go against his decision and let his friend come on, because he believes that'll help him score. And don't take this as Hiyori hate. He's one of my favorite characters from Blue Lock, but there is no way that Noa would have let Kaiser or any other player do the same stunt. And while he does give a bit of pushback, he ultimately lets Izaki bring on Hiyori instead of Kiyora. And I even had another theory going where I thought that Noa is favoring Izaki because he is a fan favorite and he's possibly being told by the businessman to let Izaki do what he wants for now, which is why he got special treatment, like being put into the match even though he didn't have high enough members just because he's a fan favorite. But that's all still in workshop. So ultimately, I believe that Noa wants to possibly bring down Ego using Izaki because Izaki's nickname is literally called Blue Lock's hero. And if Noa could take Izaki away from Ego, then the heart of Blue Lock would be taken away, making the project ultimately a failure. Now, if this is what Noa has planned for Izaki, then eventually he's gonna find out and feel betrayed that he was used as a pawn by the person he admired most, since many people think that there's going to be a big betray moment before the Neo Egoist League arc is done, and it'll be very unexpected, like Corona's betray in the first selection, from people thinking that Ness is actually gonna betray Kaiser and turn against him, to people thinking that Kiyora will join Kaiser's side in the PXG match to get a revenge for Izaki not letting him play in the Ubers match, which I actually have a theory about how I think Kiyora is going to be used in the PXG match, so please check that out after this video. But wouldn't the biggest betray be if it came from Izaki's number one hero, since Noa himself said, "Bring me logic that will defeat me," and Izaki right now is too hypnotized by Noa's greatness and his legacy to want to defeat him. So what better motivator than to make him hate him? Anyways, that's the end of this video. I had a lot of fun making this theory, so even if you don't agree with everything that was said in this video, just remember it's all a theory, and I'd be more than happy to discuss your thoughts in the comment. And I know from my short to this video, it might seem like I'm hating on Noa's character, and I really have nothing against Noa. I just think there's a lot more going on with his character than the author is letting on, and I think going down this route would be really interesting and a great motivator for Izaki's character. So that's the end of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!